There is a version of Canada that does not appear in the real estate headlines. Not the version where a detached house in a major city requires a household income that the majority of Canadians do not earn, and a down payment that takes a decade to accumulate. A different version, one where the median home price is still below $300,000, where a city has a hospital and a university, and a downtown, and a mortgage payment that a single income can cover. This list is 25 of those places. Some of them are affordable because the economy is genuinely constrained. Some are affordable because the industry that built them has contracted. Some are affordable because the market has simply not had the conversation yet, and the gap between what a place costs and what it offers is not a permanent condition. It is a window. 25 windows, in order of how long they stay open. Number 25, Flin Flon, sits on the border of Manitoba and Saskatchewan, straddling a geological formation called the Canadian Shield, in a way that means parts of the town are built directly on exposed rock. The median home price is around $112,000, which is among the lowest you will find in any incorporated municipality in Canada. Flin Flon exists because of copper and zinc mining and the Hudson Bay Mining and Smelting Company, which built the town and shaped its entire identity for generations. The smelter has closed. The pitch is price, water access, and a specific kind of remote self-sufficiency that some people find genuinely clarifying. The catch is everything else. The nearest city with full-service medical and commercial infrastructure is Prince Albert, 490 kilometers south, or Winnipeg, 740 kilometers away. Picture this. It is August in Flin Flon, and the light is extraordinary at 9 in the evening, and you own a house here for under $120,000. The nearest oncologist is a very long drive in a specific direction. That is the sentence that determines everything about whether this town belongs to you. Number 24, The Pass. The Pass is a town in northern Manitoba on the Saskatchewan River, and its median home price of approximately $118,000 tells you something immediate about what the economy here can support and what it cannot. The Pass functions as a service center for northern Manitoba communities and has a northern college campus, providing some educational infrastructure. The pitch is access to boreal landscape, river access, and affordability at a level that is almost impossible to find in a town with functioning municipal services. The catch is the economy. The Pass has faced sustained population decline as the forestry and mining industries that supported it have contracted in ways that show no clear reversal. The infrastructure reflects that contraction honestly. Picture this. You are on the Saskatchewan River in early September. The boreal forest on the opposite bank is enormous and completely silent. Your mortgage is less than $600 a month. The grocery selection is limited. The medical specialists are in Winnipeg, 605 kilometers south. You are living inside a trend, and the trend has a direction. Number 23, Sept-Îles. Sept-Îles is a port city on the north shore of the St. Lawrence River in Quebec, and it is one of the largest iron ore shipping ports in the world, which tells you both why it exists and what happens to local real estate when iron ore prices move in either direction. Median home price is around $187,000. The St. Lawrence waterfront is dramatic. The city has a hospital, an airport, and commercial infrastructure scaled to the resource economy. The catch is isolation. Sept-Îles is 670 kilometers from Quebec City on Route 138, and Route 138 does not continue further east along the North Shore in any form that suggests easy departure. The economy is mineral dependent in a way that has produced real volatility in local employment and real estate values across 2 decades. Picture this. You are watching a bulk carrier load iron ore pellets at the port at dawn. The St. Lawrence is slate-colored and enormous. Your house cost $191,000. The economy that keeps this city functioning is priced in Shanghai. Number 22, Rouyn-Noranda. Rouyn-Noranda is a city in Abitibi-Témiscamingue in northwest Quebec, and it exists because of gold. The Canadian Malartic mine nearby is one of the largest open-pit gold operations in Canada. Median home price is around $198,000. The city has a genuine art scene that is disproportionate to its size and has developed a cultural identity independent of the mining economy over several decades. The Festival de Musique Émergente draws people from across Quebec, and the Théâtre du Cuivre hosts programming that a city of this size should not be able to sustain, and somehow does. The catch is distance. Rouyn-Noranda is 600 kilometers west of Montreal and 530 from Quebec City, and it functions as a genuinely self-contained regional hub, which is both its appeal and its limit. Picture this. It is January in Rouyn-Noranda, and it is minus 28 degrees, and there is live music tonight in a venue that seats 200 people and sells out. Your house costs $202,000. The temperature outside will kill you without the right preparation. The trade-off has a name, and the name is February, and it lasts a long time here. Number 21, Timmins. Timmins is a city in northern Ontario, built on gold, and the gold is still being extracted, which puts it in a different category from many northern Ontario resource towns, where the resource is a historical memory rather than a current industrial operation. Median home price is around $212,000. The city has a hospital. It has the commercial infrastructure that a regional center of 43,000 people requires. It has enough hockey history to fill the museum it has actually built. The catch is weather and isolation. Timmins receives on average 340 centimeters of snow per year, which is a number that reads like it was constructed for emphasis and was not. The nearest city with comparable urban services is Sudbury, 300 kilometers south. Picture this. You are in Timmins in March. The snow is 4 feet deep in the yard. Your house costs $208,000. The operating gold mine nearby means the economy has a floor that other northern Ontario cities do not have. The snow does not have a floor. Number 20, Corner Brook. Corner Brook is Newfoundland's second city, sitting at the head of the Bay of Islands on the west coast of the island, and its median home price of around $219,000 reflects both the genuine value proposition and the provincial context in which that value exists. The Corner Brook Pulp and Paper Mill has been central to the economy, and its operational history in recent years has been complicated in ways the employment picture reflects. Corner Brook has a hospital. It has Grenfell campus of Memorial University. The Marble Mountain ski area is 12 kilometers away and is legitimate. The Pitch is a full-service city with university and hospital infrastructure at a price that no comparable Ontario or BC city can offer. The catch is the Newfoundland context. Interprovincial migration patterns that produce affordable markets in this province have also produced decades of population outflow. Picture this. You are skiing at Marble Mountain in February, and the Bay of Islands is visible from the top of the run, and it is stunning. Your house costs $223,000. The flight to Toronto is 2 hours, and expensive, and your family in Ontario expects you twice a year. Those are the terms. Number 19, Portage-la Prairie. Portage-la Prairie is in Manitoba, 85 kilometers west of Winnipeg on the Trans-Canada Highway, and that distance from Winnipeg is the entire Pitch. Median home price is around $213,000, which is roughly 40% below the Winnipeg median. The city has hospital infrastructure, a commercial downtown, and the Manitoba Island Lake System for recreational access within 20 minutes. The catch is that Portage-la Prairie is a city whose identity is almost entirely defined by its relationship to Winnipeg rather than by anything indigenous to its own economy. It is affordable because it is not Winnipeg. The things that make it affordable are the same things that shape what it can offer. Picture this. You are commuting east on the Trans-Canada at 7 in the morning. The sky over the Manitoba Prairie in November is immense and flat, and the sun is just beginning at the eastern horizon. Your mortgage is $1,010 a month. You will be in Winnipeg in 53 minutes. That either makes this viable or it makes this exhausting, and there is no third option and no one to decide which it is except you. Number 18, Yorkton. Yorkton is in eastern Saskatchewan, functioning as the regional center for a large agricultural territory east of Regina. and the median home price of around $241,000 reflects that role accurately. The city has a hospital, a college, a functional commercial downtown, and an identity built around Ukrainian heritage that manifests in architecture and food in ways that are not cosmetic. The Ukrainian Museum of Canada has a branch here. The Parohai are not a tourist performance. The catch is that Yorkton is a city whose economy is tied to the agricultural cycle in a way that makes diversification structurally difficult, and the cultural and commercial offerings scale accordingly. Picture this. You are in Yorkton in October. The harvest is in, and the grain elevators along the rail line are full, and the air smells like grain dust and diesel, and the first cold front. Your mortgage is $1,120 a month. The nearest large city is Regina, 188 kilometers west. The restaurant scene is limited in a way that you will either accept over time or not, and the people who accept it tend to stay for reasons that become clearer the longer they stay. Number 17, North Bay. North Bay sits at the north end of Lake Nipissing in northern Ontario, and it has something that northern Ontario cities further along this list do not have. Highway 11 south to Toronto, at a distance that is uncomfortable but not impossible. Median home price is around $332,000, which is roughly 40% below the Toronto exurban market, and more than double what Timmins offers. Nipissing University and Canadore College provide educational anchors. The city has a full hospital and 2-hour access to Sudbury. The catch is the perpetual identity question. North Bay is too close to southern Ontario to feel genuinely remote, and too far from Toronto to feel connected to it. And that in-between quality has shaped its growth trajectory for decades in ways that the price reflects without fully explaining. Picture this. It is Sunday morning in North Bay in July. Lake Nipissing is flat and enormous, and empty except for 2 fishing boats. Your house cost $328,000. The highway south exists and you know where it goes. You are simply choosing not to take it today. Number 16, Prince Rupert. Prince Rupert is a port city on the north coast of British Columbia, and it is raining. That is not a rhetorical framing device. Prince Rupert receives around 2,400 millimeters of precipitation per year, which makes it one of the wettest inhabited places in Canada. Median home price is around $314,000, which is approximately $600,000 less than the Vancouver median, and requires a specific kind of person to access that gap honestly. The port handles more container traffic per ship-to-rail transfer than any facility on the west coast of North America, which gives the city an economic function that is not going away. The catch is the weather and the geography. Prince Rupert is 720 kilometers north of Prince George on a highway that closes in winter. There is no road south along the coast. Picture this. It is October and it has been raining for 11 consecutive days. The mountains above the harbor are invisible behind cloud. Your house costs $318,000. The weather is not a seasonal condition. It is the operating environment. Number 15, Kenora. Kenora is in northwestern Ontario, on the Lake of the Woods, and the Lake of the Woods is 105 kilometers wide and contains 14,000 islands, which is a number that takes a moment to resolve into something comprehensible. The median home price is around $348,000 and rises sharply for anything with direct waterfront access. The pitch is the lake. It is genuinely magnificent. The catch is that Kenora's economy is seasonal and tourism dependent in a way that produces a commercial and employment ecosystem with specific limitations for people who need 12-month economic activity. The nearest city with full urban infrastructure is Winnipeg, 209 kilometers west. Picture this. You are on the Lake of the Woods in August. The water is clear and warm, and the islands are granite and pine, and the light at 7 in the evening is something you will try to describe to people, and the description will not work. Your house is 4 minutes from the boat launch and costs $341,000. Then October arrives, and Kenora in October requires a particular and honest relationship with interior life. Number 14, Prince George. Prince George is in the interior of British Columbia, at the confluence of the Nechako and Fraser rivers. and it functions as the hub city for a resource territory approximately the size of France. Median home price is around $426,000, which sounds like a large number until you consider that the provincial median is substantially higher, and the nearest city in any direction is at least 600 kilometers away. The University of Northern British Columbia is here. The hospital is here. The commercial infrastructure of a genuine regional hub is here, and it works. The catch is the geographic isolation and the resource economy dependency that has produced cyclical growth and contraction for 60 years in ways that the community has learned to absorb without fully resolving. Picture this. You are in Prince George in February. The temperature is -18, and the Fraser River is frozen in the slower sections. Your house cost $420,000. The same house in Kelowna is $750,000. The Caribou Highway South is 391 kilometers of specific road in specific conditions. Number 13. Moose Jaw. Moose Jaw is in Saskatchewan, 75 kilometers west of Regina, on the Trans-Canada, and Moose Jaw has something that most cities of 68,000 people in the Canadian prairies do not have: thermal mineral pools and a story about Al Capone that the tourism board has leveraged to unusual effect. The median home price is around $263,000. The tunnels of Moose Jaw attract genuine tourist traffic. The Temple Gardens Geothermal Spa operates on legitimate thermal mineral water at a temperature that is not a metaphor in a prairie winter. The catch is that Moose Jaw, despite its proximity to Regina and its tourist infrastructure, remains economically limited in ways that reflect the agricultural economy surrounding it. Picture this. You are in the Temple Gardens pool in January. It is -22 outside. The water is 38 degrees. Your house is 10 minutes away and costs $259,000. The Regina commute is 52 minutes in good weather. What you are doing right now in this pool in this temperature is available to you every single day. The question is whether that is enough of an anchor. Number 12. Swift Current. Swift Current is in southwest Saskatchewan, at the intersection of the Trans-Canada Highway and a substantial agricultural service economy that keeps the commercial infrastructure more functional than many prairie cities of comparable size. Median home price is around $288,000. The city has a hospital, a regional college, and a commercial downtown that functions across 12 months rather than 6. It is also the entry point for some of the most accessible short-grass prairie landscape in Canada, which is not the same sentence as the Rocky Mountains, but is its own specific and underappreciated ecological reality. The catch is the wind. Swift Current earns its name without trying. The wind on the prairie here is not a weather event, it is the operating condition. Picture this. You are walking downtown in March. The wind is 42 kilometers per hour, and the wind chill is -31. Your house costs $292,000. The wind will be here tomorrow and next week, and in 6 months it will still be here, and it will be warm. The people who stay have already negotiated their relationship with the wind. The people who leave usually know before the first winter ends. Number 11. Sault Ste. Marie. Sault Ste. Marie is on the north channel of the St. Mary's River, between Lake Superior and Lake Huron, and it has spent the better part of 4 decades negotiating its identity after the steel economy that built it contracted significantly. The median home price is around $261,000, which is among the most affordable for a city of its service infrastructure anywhere in Ontario. Algoma University is here. The hospital is here. The Agawa Canyon train tour is one of the more spectacular fall experiences in Northern Ontario, and it departs from downtown specifically. The catch is the post-industrial economic identity that has not yet resolved into a clear successor story, which is the kind of sentence that means different things to different people and is worth sitting with. Picture this. You are on the Agawa Canyon train in October. The maple canopy from the railcar window is doing something that you photograph several hundred times. Your house in Sault Ste. Marie costs $258,000. The city you are returning to has not finished deciding what it is becoming. That uncertainty is currently priced in your favor. Number 10. Thunder Bay. Thunder Bay is at the western tip of Lake Superior, and Lake Superior from Thunder Bay looks like an ocean. It has the horizon of an ocean. The Sleeping Giant Provincial Park across the bay from downtown frames the skyline in a way that stops people who are seeing it for the first time. Median home price is around $286,000. Lakehead University is here, the hospital is here, and it is a regional health sciences center. The city's identity as the grain terminal for the Canadian prairies gives it an industrial presence that is functional and working rather than historical. The art scene is real and disproportionate to the city's size. The catch is the distance from anywhere else. The nearest city of comparable size is Sudbury, 710 kilometers east. Picture this. You are at the waterfront at dusk in September. Lake Superior is pink and completely calm, and the sleeping giant is silhouetted across the bay, and the scale of all of it is difficult to process as something you get to look at from your city. Your house costs $281,000. The isolation that the lake creates is the same isolation that keeps the price where it is. Those two facts are the same fact. Number 9. Summerside. Summerside is Prince Edward Island's second city, and Prince Edward Island's second city is not a large place. The population is around 18,000 people. The median home price is around $278,000, and the pitch is that you are on an island in the Gulf of St. Lawrence with red sand beaches within 20 minutes, a hospital, a college, and commercial infrastructure at a price point that the coastal real estate market in mainland Nova Scotia or New Brunswick cannot match. The catch is the island context. The Confederation Bridge to the mainland is 13 kilometers of fixed-link crossing that costs $51 each way. And the island economy is seasonal in ways that affect employment across 12 months, even when the tourists are not there. Picture this. You are on a red sand beach in PEI in June at 6 in the morning before anyone else has arrived. The Gulf of St. Lawrence is calm, and the color of the sand and the green of the fields behind the dune is a combination that painters have been attempting to capture for 150 years. Your house costs $274,000. The bridge home is 13 kilometers of wind. The wind is real, and the beauty is also real, and they are the same geography. Number 8. Medicine Hat. Medicine Hat is in southeast Alberta, and Medicine Hat is the least expensive major city in a province that has otherwise priced most of its residential real estate beyond what the national conversation considers attainable. Median home price is around $311,000. The city sits on one of the largest natural gas fields in Canada, which historically kept residential and commercial energy costs below provincial averages in a way that compounds the affordability advantage. The South Saskatchewan River runs through downtown, and the Badlands are close enough for a day trip that ends at home. The catch is limited cultural and post-secondary infrastructure relative to the city's size and the Alberta summer heat, which in Medicine Hat is not a coastal dry heat. It is prairie heat in a river valley, and it is specific. Picture this. You are on the South Saskatchewan River in Medicine Hat in July. It is 37 degrees, and the river valley provides the thermal relief that topography provides in otherwise flat country. Your house costs $308,000. In Calgary, the same house is $620,000. The drive to Calgary is 295 kilometers. The question is, how often you actually need Calgary. Number 7. Lethbridge. Lethbridge is in southern Alberta, and it has three things simultaneously that almost no comparably priced Canadian city can claim: a university, a hospital, and Chinook winds. The Chinook is a warm westerly that can raise the temperature 40 degrees in under an hour during winter, which transforms the prairie winter experience in a way that is genuinely difficult to explain to someone who has never stood outside in January, watching the thermometer go from -20 to +12 in the time it takes to finish lunch. Median home price is around $376,000. The University of Lethbridge building by Arthur Erickson is alone worth a separate conversation. The catch is that Lethbridge functions in the shadow of Calgary, which is 2 hours north and has everything Lethbridge does not in terms of employment depth and cultural mass. Picture this. You are in Lethbridge in February during a Chinook. The sky is the specific blue that only exists in southern Alberta on these days, and the snow is melting in January, and you are standing outside in a light jacket. Your house cost $372,000. In Calgary, it is $650,000. The Chinook is free. The question is what you can live 2 hours from. Number 6. Fredericton. Fredericton is the capital of New Brunswick, and the capital of New Brunswick has not yet been found by the relocation conversation in the way that Moncton has, and the price reflects that gap in attention directly. Median home price is around $321,000. The University of New Brunswick and St. Thomas University both operate here. The provincial government is the employment anchor in a way that creates stability without creating dynamism. The St. John River runs through downtown, and the Riverside Trail system is the kind of public infrastructure that cities spend decades trying to build, and Fredericton built without a headline. The catch is limited private sector employment diversity and a downtown shaped by government in ways that produce a specific social texture not everyone finds energizing. Picture this. You are on the Fredericton River Trail in May. The elms overhead are enormous, and the river is full from snowmelt, and the city is quiet in the way that capital cities with small populations can be quiet, which is a different kind of quiet from rural quiet, and requires a particular disposition to appreciate. Your mortgage is $1,400 a month. The government is hiring. The question is whether that sentence covers the life you are building. Number 5. Sudbury. Sudbury has spent 3 decades becoming a different city than the one the nickel economy built, and the results are more interesting than most people who have not been there recently would expect or credit. The median home price is around $382,000, which is less than half the Toronto median and more than double what it was 15 years ago. And the trajectory is still upward. There are 330 lakes within the city limits of Sudbury. That is the actual number, a consequence of the pre-Cambrian shield geology that also produced the nickel deposits that built everything else. The catch is the economic identity in transition, with all the genuine uncertainty that implies. Laurentian University has faced significant financial difficulties that this entry cannot responsibly omit. The hospital is here, and it is a regional health sciences center with real capacity. Picture this. You are on one of those 330 lakes in September. The shield rock is orange, and the birch trees are turning, and the water is cold and clear, and you got here in 12 minutes from your house, which cost $379,000. The city around you is becoming something. Whether you are there before or after the becoming finishes is the only variable that matters. Number 4. St. John. St. John is the largest city in New Brunswick, and it is by a measurable margin the least expensive major city in Canada with full urban infrastructure. The median home price is around $244,000. The Bay of Fundy tides here are the highest in the world, a quantified superlative that changes the waterfront view of downtown 4 times a day in ways that you stop taking for granted more slowly than you would expect. The heritage architecture in the South End and Lower Peninsula is 19th century industrial prosperity turned residential, and it is available at prices that in any Ontario or BC city would represent a fraction of a parking space. The catch is the economic trajectory. St. John's population has been flat to declining, and the industrial economy that built the city has contracted over several decades in ways that the current commercial infrastructure reflects. The Irving Industrial Complex remains the dominant employer, and the relationship between the city's economic health and one family's decisions is unusually direct. Picture this. You are watching the Bay of Fundy tide come in from Market Square in October. The water rises a meter every 12 minutes. Your house in the South End is a Victorian with 10-foot ceilings and cost $238,000. The heritage is undeniable. The economic question is also undeniable. The order in which those two things resolve determines your return. Number 3. Sherbrooke. Sherbrooke is the largest city in Quebec's eastern townships, and it sits equidistant between Montreal and Quebec City at roughly 160 kilometers from each, and the market has not yet priced that location the way the location should be priced. Median home price is around $307,000, which has been rising consistently and remains below what the same conversation costs in either of the cities it sits between. Sherbrooke has 2 universities, a hospital, a functioning French-language cultural ecosystem, and a geography of rivers and hills that makes it more visually interesting than most mid-sized Canadian cities without trying. The catch is the language requirement, which is not a catch that can be softened. Sherbrooke is francophone in a way that is genuine rather than administrative, and the English language commercial and social infrastructure is limited in proportion to that reality. Picture this. You are on the Rivière Magog in downtown Sherbrooke in October. The deciduous canopy over the river is doing what Quebec Falls do, and the city is going about its life in French around you. Your house costs $302,000. Montreal is 160 kilometers west. Quebec City is 160 east. The language is not a commute, it is the condition under which everything else operates. Number 2, Moncton. Moncton is the fastest growing city in Atlantic Canada and has been for several consecutive years, which is a sentence that contains both the pitch and the catch in the same clause. The median home price is around $336,000, up from under $200,000 3 years ago, and the trajectory is still upward. Moncton is bilingual, genuinely, in a way that opens French and English employment markets simultaneously and produces a commercial ecosystem that reflects that access. The healthcare infrastructure is here. The airport is here. The catch is that Moncton's affordability window is measurably closing. The people who say Moncton is the next Halifax are wrong only in the direction. Moncton is not becoming Halifax. It is already past where Halifax was when Halifax was considered affordable. Picture this. You are making an offer on a house in Moncton. The list price is $340,000. 2 years ago, this house was listed at $212,000. You are not early. You are not late. You are in the middle of a market in motion, which is the most specific kind of position to be in, and sometimes the only position where the math still closes. Number 1. Trois-Rivières. Trois-Rivières sits on the St. Lawrence River, at the mouth of the St. Maurice River, exactly halfway between Montreal and Quebec City, and the market has not yet priced in what's sitting halfway between 2 of the most expensive housing markets in the country at that geographic position should cost. Median home price is around $286,000. 2 autoroutes connect Trois-Rivières to Montreal in 90 minutes and to Quebec City in 80. The city has a hospital, a university, a functioning industrial base that survived the forestry contraction better than comparable Quebec cities, and a heritage downtown along the St. Lawrence that is among the best preserved 18th century streetscapes in North America. The art scene is real. The economy is more diversified than the forestry label suggests. The catch is the language. Trois-Rivières is francophone, and it is not a bilingual city in the way that Moncton is bilingual. If French is not your operating language, the daily experience is different in ways that are specific and consistent. Picture this. You are in the historic Vieux Trois-Rivières district on a June evening. The St. Lawrence is enormous, and the light is doing something that has been described in French-Canadian literature for 300 years, and the reason it keeps getting described is that it is true. Your house costs $292,000. Montreal is 90 minutes west. Quebec City is 80 minutes east. The market that should have found this intersection of geography, price, infrastructure, and preserved heritage has been running approximately 4 years behind schedule. That gap is your window. The window is closing. 25 cities. Not one of them is a secret. They are simply places that the conversation has not finished with yet, or places where the conversation finished badly and the price never recovered, or places where the thing that makes the price low is the same thing that makes the place what it is. The taxonomy matters. Flin Flon and Thunder Bay are both affordable, and the reasons have almost nothing in common. St. John and Moncton are both in New Brunswick, and the windows could not be further apart in how long they stay open. The places at the bottom of this list are affordable because something permanent is absent. The places at the top are affordable because the market is running behind the facts on the ground, and markets catch up on their own schedule, not yours. Trois-Rivières has the St. Lawrence, 2 autoroutes, 2 adjacent major cities within 90 minutes, a functional economy, and a preserved heritage district that European cities would build tourism campaigns around, and it costs less than a condo in Toronto's outer suburbs. That gap exists for a reason. The reason is that the conversation has not arrived yet. This video is the conversation.